Hey guys, this is J-Darb. I'm going to be casting a game between Allidel and TCRpMHC. Allidel's one of my buddies. He doesn't have time to put into it to compete for the J-Darb Invitational, but I'm really happy to get a replay from him. I'm hoping for a good game. We'll see how it goes. So Allidel is the red Terran in the bottom left, with TCRpMHC being at the top right. I don't know what I'm supposed to call this guy. I guess it's just the long name the whole time. Alright, so it looks like we have Allidel with a little bit faster, little bit of a smoother build than his opponent. Meanwhile, TCRpMHC is sending a SCV over to check out, see what's going on. TCRpMHC has his gas just finish, a little bit behind Allidel. Like everything he's doing so far is one step behind. He's one worker behind. He's got his gas production up. And his SCV will likely remain here to die. He'll find a Marine come out very shortly. I'm kind of surprised he didn't have his dude go attack Allidel's worker, but it is a little bit micro intensive, so probably a good move. He's got a couple of Marines out himself. That one will go down. Allidel putting up a tech lab and a orbital command upgrade on his command center, starting his natural exactly on time, I think. Overall, very smooth build. Pretty impressed with this execution. TCRpMHC, on the other hand, is committing to a few more production facilities before he upgrades to his orbital command or goes out to... I wonder if he's intentionally making a big one base push, or if he is planning to or if he's just, you know, like, not that well refined yet. He gets his starport up. He needs his natural up as soon as he can get it, because between upgrades and production out of all these facilities, he needs some cash. Allidel, on the other hand, is getting a few... It says his barracks way back here. I'm kind of interested in that. Maybe it's just to scout any drops that are coming over here. He's not planning on using it at all. He's got one tank that comes up. We'll see. Need a few more. Oh man, I didn't realize that there's a hole right there. So I guess that SCV could have gotten out, but he didn't, because he didn't realize it either. Allidel has a couple of factories coming up. I'm kind of interested in this placement because, like, if you get things bunched up too close to walls, I'm assuming that he's going to be going for a bunch of Thors, and they have a hard time walking around a lot of stuff, but it's probably fine, especially if you rally. Like, if there's nothing here, then it'll be fine, and if there is, then you could just rally to this spot and have them go out that way. But Allidel might... I'm expecting a push from TCRpMHC in the near future. He can't be mining, like, there's no way to sustain... You see, like, none of this is producing. He really needs a second base up, or he needs to just outright win. I'd really like to see the command center. Maybe this will be it. Yeah, there we go. So it is late. Allidel has a significant lead on his mineral income, and he has a bit of a lead on gas, but needs some of those SCVs to get to work. Near constant SCV production is a big plus. I don't actually know if it was near constant because I haven't been watching it the whole time, but he is 7 workers ahead. Without the second base, TCRpMHC is wasting a lot of time with these dudes. But I don't think that he's planning on it taking that long. I mean, he's not planning on his push being any more. I guess he is. He's got his command center up, right? He sees all these tanks and just decides, ooh, he's gonna go for a big drop. This is a really good way to commit your units and get them. Oh, he's just gonna go. Where is he gonna go? I guess he's gonna go around home, maybe. Just hang out here. Maybe he's gonna go around to this base. It'll be irritating for sure. But really, he goes to sit right underneath a missile turret. These guys are not getting out. A bunch of these SCVs die, but it does not matter. Allidel's still up by 7. He has way more tanks than he needs to eliminate this army. So he'll just get right back to business. TCRpMHC really needs to set this command center down, and Allidel could take this opportunity to set up another expansion. But this is basically the mantra of macro. I mean, I really like building this missile turret right under this medevac. This is really good to solidify his position here to make sure that this doesn't happen again. But I would be surprised if it happened again anytime soon, particularly because he doesn't have a whole lot to do it with. And Allidel's just getting more. He didn't lose much in that fight. Allidel's worker lead has stagnated, but so has TCRpMHC's. I mean, neither of them are producing at this point. I would like to see that a bit more constant. I think that that's a good area of focus for anybody in lower leagues. But aside from that, I mean, overall, I've been very impressed with Allidel's macro, particularly in comparison to TCRpMHC, who is just now getting his second base up. He's gonna grab those gases and maybe he can get some to even out his mineral income. He is producing at long last out of most of his buildings. This barracks is not too busy, but I do like to see that he's not queuing up anything. That's a really bad habit to get into. Allidel with a supply block, he'll need to build a few. This would be a good time. He has a little bit of orbital energy. I don't know if he has enough to do it, but like just slap the extra supply down on top of these depots. That's a really good way to do it if you do get supply blocked. I mean, you don't usually want to do that because it's the opportunity cost of the mule, but if you are already behind, then it's a pretty fantastic way to do it. And a lot of people will suggest that at lower levels, just do that all the time. It'll help smooth out your builds significantly. So that'd be good. But he does get an extra 4 supply depots up, and it is showing. He's just able to pump out quite a lot of units. Setting up a couple of another, and I really like seeing most of these factories. I mean, this one is not too busy, but most of these factories are are doing work, putting out some units. This Thor gets stuck. He'll need to lift a factory in order to do that, but that's kind of what I was talking about with regards to these factories. Like, if Thor gets pretty stuck in a lot of scenarios, so you just have to be mindful of where your building's going to be. There's a big drop coming in to Allidel's main. I guess that Thor will be useful for that. He does have a couple of missile turrets that'll help defend against it, and he has plenty of units. Like, even if he loses, these factories aren't doing anything. Even if he loses them, it's not a big deal, right? So we'll see what happens. It looks like TCRpMHC is really debating what he's gonna do. That Thor is like, let me out! He's really debating what he's gonna do about... This is a bad spot. At least maybe he could get that. This guy, he really likes his drops. He's probably died to them 1,000 times over. But he just needs to learn, man, that, like, it's not that big of a deal. Those Marines will not be getting out of here, and that drop accomplished virtually nothing. Meanwhile, TCRpMHC is not producing whatsoever. He's too busy microing these Marines. He's like, yeah, give me that hellion! But who gives a shit? This Thor, I don't think it's stuck, is it? It's just not rallied. But yeah, Allidel maintaining production is able to get just a hugely significant lead, almost doubling the mineral income. He's ahead in gas. He's got 50% more workers. He's got his third base going super well. He needs to migrate a few of these SCVs, which there goes one, but he needs to migrate a couple of them down to here. Like, even if they're not, well, I guess he just needs to wait for this to finish. But yeah, he's got a pretty good balance of minerals to gas, which should allow him to be building up. I would like to see more upgrades. He's currently at 1-1. I mean, both of them are, it looks like TCRpMHC is just infantry and vehicle weapons. Allidel only vehicle weapons and armor, but if you only have vehicles, then that's all that you need, right? But yeah, he could afford 2-2, especially with 2 armories going on. That'd be a good area to focus. But his worker lead continues to climb. He's almost to the point where he can justify stopping workers. His orbital energy is getting way up, but he hits 200 and decides that it's time to move out. I'll be interested to see if he does any micro at this point, or if it's just attack and focus on building. He at home has a couple more Thors, but he's maxed out. There's no way that he does start the upgrades. This planetary fortress is not going to be any match for the units that Allidel's sending, and neither are TCRpMHC's units. There's just too much. Like, even with this Thor going and no, I mean, even with these tanks hammering away, they're doing a lot of damage, but it doesn't matter. There's just too much stuff. TCRpMHC calls GG, and yeah, it was pretty much expected. This is a classic demonstration of just macro versus not as much macro. So good game, Allidel, and happy to see you playing.